Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind, our Week 1 recap video. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Please be joined by Jeff Hansen. Jeff, welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
It's great to be here, and as always, we're presented by Tab Bank. Want to thank Tab Bank, home of the Tab Spends Rewards checking account with a 3.5% annual percentage yield and 1% cash back on purchases. It's a big deal at Tab Bank, member FDIC. Thanks for Tab Bank sponsoring our coverage here of Week 1. Jeff, football is back, eh?
Oh man, it feels good. It feels good every year, and I think every Week 1, it's not going to get better than this. And then every new Week 1, it gets better every single year.
I'll tell you, this Week 1 was a lot better. It was actually quite pleasant outside.
Yeah.
It was kind of a cooler evening. I didn't even sweat.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of sweating. Didn't have a lightning delay. That's a Week 1 thing.
That's a win.
That was great. Great Week 1.
We had great action Week 1. We're going to recap you on all of it. But we're going to start off today with our best of 6A. Jeff, as you were looking at things last night, this morning, what was your best moment or best game, best performance of 6A?
Yeah, for me, the best 6A performance came in the first 6A game when we saw Davis take on Brighton. That Davis offense specifically. I got to go to my notebook of knowledge here, Dane. I just want to read off some stats. Starts with Trayton Bessinger. 31 of 38, 284 yards, and 5 touchdown passes. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
44 rushing yards and an additional touchdown. So for math wizards, that's 6 touchdowns for Trayton Bessinger. He was throwing it around to everybody. Bodie Sparrow, we're going to talk a lot about Sparrow all year long, and Bessinger. They're the all-stars of that team. Bodie Sparrow goes for 8 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. He also had a pick 6 on the defensive side. But what was so impressive about that Davis offense, it wasn't just Bessinger and Sparrow. Isaac Morrison goes for 7 catches, 112 yards and a score. Tyson Baggett, 784 and a score. Jackson Itahayao, he did it a couple of different ways. He has 5 catches, 32 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He gets the ball a little bit out of the backfield. And then Mykyle Bird. I didn't have Bird on my list of guys to watch coming into the season, but he does a little bit of everything. He's got some juice as a running back. He had 7 carries for 29 yards. He also had a few catches, 32 yards through the air. That offensive performance from Davis, 450 plus total yards, it was fantastic. It reminded me, Dane, and I have to be careful when I say things like this.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that Corner Canyon game against Farmington in 2020.
Oh boy! Hey, let's set the bar, eh, Jeff?
Well, I mean, maybe it's just because Jackson Dart's a Kaysville guy. You got Kaysville school. I don't know what it is, but when I remember that game thinking, holy cow, this corner offense has arrived. Like they have told the entire world they are for real. That's the same feeling I got watching that Davis offense just go crazy against a really good, historically, a really good Brighton defense. Casey Satera, great defensive mind, and Davis made it look easy. That was a fantastic performance. The craziest stat to me, Dane, 22 first downs on 53 offensive plays. They throw in 6 touchdowns there. That means they scored or moved the chains on 53% of their offensive plays.
Wow.
I mean, they were pushing the ball downfield. They did a great job all night long.
You know, one of the crazy things is we get I got halftime stats from that game, had them emailed to me. Let me tell you the line for Trayton Bessinger at halftime against Brighton. 27 of 33 for 347 yards.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. And remember, for those of you who may not know, Trayton Bessinger, multi-year starter. Remember, he kind of came on the scene when Jackson transferred. Not that Jackson.
Right.
When Jackson Stevens transferred.
Right.
Trayton Bessinger stepped in as a sophomore, and it's been his show now, 3rd year. And this young man committed to Boise State, but he's going to have himself a big-time senior year. So impressive with the start from Davis. Look, their non-region schedule is not easy.
Right.
They're going to test themselves. You're going to be able to see the rest of the regular season games right here on KSLSports.com. So we're going to have a bunch of Davis coverage for you. This may be that team. It's been years, Jeff. We've talked about a team from the north maybe getting to Rice Eccles, maybe getting to the state championship. This Davis team may be that. A lot of games to be played, right? Got to stay healthy and playoffs, see how seedings shake out. But they looked really, really good.
It's going to come down to the trenches, and Davis has heard that all year long. That, the trenches, that's what's going to be Davis's Achilles heel. Hey, Brighton's pretty good in the trenches too. And Davis looked pretty darn good. They may have found some answers in the trenches.
Let me go to my best of 6A. And this was one that, well, I'm not going to lie. This one surprised me. We could talk about this later, but we're going to talk about it right now. Look, when you're taking on a defending state champion, you expect it's going to be a tight game. Herman!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Wow.
The Mustangs absolutely take it to Bountiful 27-7. Bountiful scores. Siaki Fekitoa gets a fourth quarter rushing touchdown. Herman controls this football game. Tyler Messer had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. Ellermeyer had an 80-yard pick six. Herman, I did not have a lot of expectations of Herman this year. They come in. Bountiful was a top 25 team for us here on Rewind. A lot of people had them top 15, and they just dominated Bountiful week one. Coach Rickards, a couple years he's been in the program, he will get that thing going. And man, week one's like, yeah, okay, maybe they got something there out at Herman. Program that's been a while since they've been able to compete for a state playoff push. But man, you come into a defending state champion like that, Bountiful of course 5A, but absolutely impressive performance from the Mustangs.
Yeah, and Messer, you mentioned he has a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. He also threw for a touchdown in that game. Some trickery coming out of Herman. They got the game started. Really, what set this tone for me all game is that defense. They had an 80-yard pick six to start the game. I was impressed. I was surprised and impressed. I don't know what I thought of Herman coming into the season, but I did not think that they would be able to just throttle a really good Bountiful team and a Bountiful rushing attack the way that they did. Kind of a statement win for the Mustangs to start the season.
It will be interesting because you look at that region, realignment, okay, so let's realign our expectation of that region. Bingham, Cedar Valley, Copper Hills, who also won Friday night, Herman, Mountain Ridge, Riverton, Westlake, who also looked really good. That region feels wide open. There's no corner canyon in that region. It feels wide open. Mountain Ridge could make a play for it. Westlake, Copper Hills, again, they got a win.
This
Herman team, just saying.
It's there.
That was a good-looking win on Friday night.
Absolutely.
Jeff, your best 5A.
Yeah, going into 5A, West and Tempu. They're two long-time programs, historical programs. How many times has West beat Tempu in history?
I'm going to say none.
One now. First win for West over Tempu in program history. And really, it was the offense that impressed me. After a 0-0 first quarter, West went out and scored 50 points in the last three second quarters. No, the last three quarters is how that works. Camden Lopati, Louis Hamilton, they combined, set a West school rushing record for 300. I think it was 305 yards on the ground.
Good for them.
They did everything. And Camden Lopati looked fantastic. He was getting players involved through the air. He had a couple of touchdown passes, but it was his ability to run that I think made him really a different version of Lopati. We saw him run a little bit last year. He ran with intent and with purpose. He had a 45-yard touchdown run where he pulled it and he just took off, and he looked like a running back. I mean, he was fast. He was physical. The Illinois commit.
I love it, by the way.
The Illinois commit looked fantastic. I thought that was a statement win for West. We've talked about West for the last few years. They've had talent. They've had college players, and we've said, is this the year that West shows it? And then it hasn't been to beat Tempu. And look, I know that Tempu's got their stuff going on right now. They had some hard times and lost some players and coaches and stuff. So it's maybe not the Tempu that we're used to seeing, but it's still Tempu. And there's still a ton of talent on that team. And West looked great. This looks like the year that West is for real.
I think they are. I was talking with a coach this morning. I think that's a top 2 team in 5A and could very well challenge for a state championship. A lot of work for them to do. Important for them to get early wins. Their region schedule is not going to test them as much as some of their non-region games will. So important for them to get some early wins, get that confidence built up. But I agree. That was an impressive win for West, and that's one where you can really say that's why this year is different, right? Because there have been years where they played in American Fork, who I think they play again this year, and they've fallen short in those games. But you go beat Tempu. Okay, this year can be different for the Panthers.
Absolutely.
My best of 5A, look, it's a matchup that has, when I think about the history, it's just typically been one-sided. We had a lot of expectations preseason for Alta. They go down to Springville, and the Red Devils just deviled them like they always do. Springville with a 20-0 run in the second quarter gives them a lead. They're able to hold on against Alta. How about Zachary Henderson had a 45-yard pick six for Springville in that game as well. 27-20 as 27-21. My apologies. Springville gets the victory over Alta. And Jeff, we had a lot of expectations. We talked about Alta. We thought they were going to take that next step this year. Yeah. That's a really tough Springville team. I was talking with another coach this morning. He said they're Springville up front.
Yeah.
It's like we don't already know this. Super physical, super big, and that ground game with Valetti is a problem for opposing defenses.
It is, and it was the defense of Springville that surprised me the most. I expected them to be solid, but that Alta offense, Tucker Brown back at quarterback, they've got a lot of pieces.
Three passing touchdowns.
He played great. They've got a lot of really talented pieces that I expect Alta to be able to score with anybody. And Springville did a pretty darn good job controlling that offense.
Alta got on them early. I think it was 14-0, and then Springville came back, took the 2014 lead, and then was able to hold on at the end. Alta scored a touchdown in the fourth, but couldn't capitalize after that point. But impressive win for Springville. We had them, I think, at 22-ish in our preseason top 25. Expect them to move up in our rankings video. You can catch that on KSLSports.com. Jeff, your best of 4A.
4A, we got to go down south. This is a tough battle for me in my house. Skyview. That's my parents' school. That's their alma mater.
Has your mom let you back for Thanksgiving dinner yet?
No, never had.
That's too bad.
I think I might have burned that bridge forever. It's Salem Hills. My wife's family is all from down that way, Woodland Hills, Salem. Salem Hills getting the win over Skyview.
How about that?
That was surprising to me. And the way that they did it was especially impressive. They fell down early. They were trailing at the end of the first quarter. They had to battle back. They did well. What I loved about that Salem Hills performance was Ryder Hales at quarterback. I got to read these stats. Notebook of knowledge again. 30 of 44 for 339 yards and a pair of touchdowns. He also added a pair of touchdowns on the ground. That's how you're going to go and get a win. Skyview is a team we had a lot of expectations for. They were in our top 25. Xander Stokes played great. He ran for almost 100 yards, had
Clark
56
too.
Receiving. Yeah, I mean, they played well. But the Skyhawks, they just continued to play very, very good. And it started with Hales, Peyton Higginson.
Who's a stud, by the way.
Absolute stud. He has 9 tackles on defense, 123 receiving yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Higginson's the real deal.
Yeah.
But Hales wasn't just feeding and force-feeding Higginson. He hit 9 different receivers in that game. It was a well-rounded offensive attack. They did just enough on defense to keep Skyview at bay in the second half. Very impressed with what we saw from Salem Hills.
Little interesting tidbit in this game. 30-28 was your final score. Obviously, that's not a real round number when it comes to football scores. I know 30's round, but you get what I'm saying. 3 missed 2-point conversions for Salem Hills in that game. They had 1 point after. I don't know if they were called or if things went awry, but if there was something, look, this is an impressive win. Skyview, we talked about the preseason expectations we had of them. That's a great win for Salem Hills, but if there's one thing to clean up some of those special teams things, they did hit a field goal in that game, so it's not like they don't have a kicker who can kick. It's just some of those small aspects of that game, but man, still an impressive win over Skyview. You nailed it. That's a big win.
It's a big win, and Skyview's going to be, that's a tough road trip for Skyview to go all the way down to Salem Hills. Skyview's going to be just fine. They played well as well, but I mean, big win for Salem Hills.
Big win. My best of 4A, I'm going to talk about that region because, again, we're talking about realignment. It's the first time, this year things realigned. Let me tell you about that region, speaking of Region 8. All right, so Salem Hills, Mountain View, who won, Park City, who won, Provo, who won, Timpanogos, who won, and Uinta. Look, and Timpanogos, this offense was flying around 55 points for Timpanogos in week 1. Provo got a big win over Green Canyon. Region 8, my goodness, Jeff. I mean, this is going to be a really competitive region. I cannot wait for region play. We're going to try to get out, see some of these teams, but really good starts for the teams in the new Region 8. I kind of left that general. We'll talk about Andrew Hillstead for Timpanogos. Obviously, we mentioned the 55-32 victory over Juan Diego. Hillstead had 4 passing touchdowns. We talked about him as a big-time quarterback coming back for this Timpanogos team. It was why we had them in the top 25. Park City, how about Park City? Man. The Battle of the Wasatch back. They're taking on Wasatch. They need a 14-0 fourth quarter the Myers do to come back and beat Wasatch. Congratulations, Coach Monzingo, his squad, Eli Warner, and others get an impressive win in their Week 1 rivalry. What's all with all these week one rivalries, kind of weird.
Realignments made rivalry week a little bit different here, hasn't it?
It's the start of the year instead of the end. Anyway, Region 8, keep an eye out for them. Going to be really competitive. Great starts to the year for those teams. All right, Jeff, your best of the rest. Rurals.
I didn't know that this was a thing, and maybe this is the first year, and then shame on us.
Rurals have existed for quite a while. Actually, we cover 3A, 2A, 1A.
That's true. I walked right into that one.
Yes, you did.
The rural preview at Snow College. I did not know that this existed, but 8 rural teams, some of the best, they all meet in Ephraim, and they host, Snow College hosts 4 different games over 2 days. Yesterday, it was San Juan over Grantsville. Jagger Neves does what he does. He has 3 rushing touchdowns. They get the win 26-7. And then in the second game, Kanab over Emory 45-20. And get this, Dave, they had 3 pick sixes, did the Kanab Cowboys.
Wow.
That's where the bulk of their points come. And there's 2 more games down there at Snow today. We're recording on a Saturday. Duchesne will take on South Summit, and Millard takes on South Sevier a little bit later on Saturday night. Just a fantastic way to get some of these premier rural programs together, to let them play at Snow on the college field. I think that's great. I don't think that they've done. I think this is the first year of that rural preview at Snow. I think it's a cool thing.
That's awesome.
I love to see it, and some really good football being played down there in Ephraim.
Love it. Love it. Look, the the 3A, 2A, 1A, there were some great games, including, we might talk about this one in a little bit, Milford. They put up a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
We'll get there. My best of the rest, though, how about the game for North Summit? They're playing Enterprise. They're down in this one, 21-7 in the first quarter. And North Summit comes back. And this is a team, remember, they graduated so many players off of last year's team. Look, Crew Richens had 2 passing touchdowns. They used a 14-0 fourth quarter to finish off the comeback as they stun Enterprise 35-28 in the comeback victory for the Braves. A lot of new faces contributing for North Summit this year, but a great way for the Braves to start off of their great year last year with an early week 1 win. All right, let's move on. We got 5 questions that we want to discuss today as we recap week 1. Let's dive into our first question, Jeff. And this is, which team outside of our preseason top 25 showed that they belonged in it?
Yeah. Got to go to my notebook of knowledge because I got a couple. We've talked about Herman, we talked about Salem Hills, and I think certainly those 2 fit
I do think the
answer.
question said team, but we'll allow a little latitude.
Yeah. Well, we talked about them, so I'm crossing them off my list. They're not my answer.
All right.
I'm torn. There's
interesting.
Syracuse, who I think had a statement win.
Yep.
And then there's Mountain Crest, who had a pretty big statement win.
Yep.
I think my answer is going to be Mountain Crest because the way that they did it, to travel to East, and again, East, kind of like Tempu, there's a transition period there for East, so I get it. It's not the East of a few years ago.
Yeah.
But anytime you go 38-0 on the road against a program like East, people are going to pay attention. So that was huge for me. Braden Larson has 3 touchdowns. Cruz Ramos, Carter Egbert, they each add a touchdown. And then the defense pitches a shutout. It was a big win for Mountain Crest, obviously, but it was a dominating performance on both sides of the ball for the Mustangs. And to me, absolutely, they were just outside of our top 25. I don't think there's any question they should be inside our top 25 now.
I'm not going to lie. I'm stunned. I thought you were going to go Syracuse. I was going to go another direction, actually.
It was right there. Syracuse was the other one. You told me I can't answer 2, so sorry, Titans.
I wasn't going to talk Syracuse because I thought you were going to. I was going to talk Olympus.
Just keeping you on your toes.
But since you didn't talk Syracuse, I'll talk Syracuse because that one for me was a statement.
Yeah.
Jeff, we were talking, and you're like, I think Syracuse is going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
That was as we were putting our rankings together and as we got other material and kind of sorted it all out, they did not make it. But, man, week 1's like, yeah, we probably missed on that one. Go check our top 25 video. You'll see what our pollsters thought of Syracuse's win. But when you look at what they did, playing Woods Cross, we talked about Woods Cross. They were outside our top 25 as well on the cusp. But, I mean, they did not allow that running game to get going like Woods Cross has been so successful doing. The other thing is that Syracuse, you go read the recaps, they were down. They had to come from behind. They trailed this game 7-6. The wherewithal to come back from that kind of a deficit, absolutely impressive. In all seriousness, though, Cale Prom had a 97-yard kickoff return. Ben Cook had a 45-yard blocked kick return for a touchdown. Those were their only points in the second half, by the way. They did most of their damage offensively in the first half, and then they got points from defense and special teams to help carry the rest of the load. Absolutely impressive. really made a statement, I thought, Syracuse did in that opening win against Woods Cross. And I will add Olympus because this was a team that we did have outside. We said they might be in 14-0. We talked about their defense was going to be top-notch.
Yep.
And would the offense be able to create enough points? It did week one. I feel like this is the MO for Olympus. We'll see if they can hold all year long. But 1-0 for Coach Burt and the boys, the Titans of Olympus.
Adam Bywater had a couple of big plays. Sam Nada had a couple of big plays.
You're going to hear those names a lot.
A lot. That defense
deservedly
is tough.
so. It is tough.
That defense is tough.
All right, question number 2, Jeff. Which team made the biggest week 1 statement?
Well, I think we're going to talk a lot about, we talked about Davis. That was a statement. We talked about Fremont. We'll continue to talk more about Fremont. That's a statement. I think Lehigh made a pretty quiet statement in pitching a shutout against Maple Mountain and throwing up 55 points. Lehigh is competing for state championships. That's what Lehigh is expecting to be this year. They think they are the team that can dethrone Corner Canyon. And the way to announce yourself to Corner Canyon that, hey, there's a threat, it's to pitch a shutout and to hang 50. And that's what Lehigh did. Look, everybody expected them to beat Maple Mountain. Lehigh's going to be really, really good. They had some quarterback questions coming into this season. I think they still maybe don't know who the quarterback is going to be on a week-to-week basis. But whoever it is, it was Cash Hollingshed last night, and he played really, really well. Legend Glasker got going. Devon Eka had 3 rushing scores. That offensive line for Lehigh is fantastic. I mean, every single one of them could play college ball. And for Devon Eka, that's a dream for a running back. And so he looks great. The defense looks fantastic. Again, don't allow any points on the board. That's a big win. I don't think that Lehigh had to announce themselves to the rest of the state, but they want to continue to be right there on the heels of Corner, saying you're not just running away with the state championship. That's the statement that they made yesterday.
Let me give you another one. There's actually another direction I could go with this. We're going to save that one for later. How about Lone Peak, week 1? We've not talked about Lone Peak yet. 49-14, the victory over Crimson Cliffs. We talked about a team defeating a defending state champion. That's what Lone Peak just did. Now, I know Crimson Cliffs defending 4A state champion, but that team last year gave 5A teams a problem. And Crimson Cliffs is at a point as a program where they graduate, it doesn't matter. These kids are in the program, they grow up in the program, it's a reload, and you come in as a senior, you played last year, and now your minutes go up, and you just continue to take that program to new heights. The way that Lone Peak dominated this game was 28-14 at break. They didn't allow anything in the second half. The other thing that I think is of note for Lone Peak, they're without their starting quarterback.
Right.
Remember, Niume Tolo. Thank you.
There we go.
I knew I was.
I'm probably
was not
wrong,
right.
too. Someone's going to correct both of us.
Keppa did not play in this game because of the state championship. Got a flag in the second half of the state championship, was not eligible to play. This is their backup quarterback. Dropping 49 points for this offense for Lone Peak. The ground game was fantastic. Cruz Christensen had 3 passing touchdowns. Kaeli had 2 rushing touchdowns. Lone Peak defense, I mean, need you say anything more? They did what they do. They shut down a really good Crimson Cliffs team. Lone Peak making a statement against a good Crimson Cliffs team. They're in the mix in 6A.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really impressed with the way Cruz Christensen stepped in and played.
Yeah.
Look, if you can lose your starting quarterback, Keppa's watching, and the guy comes in and throws 3 touchdowns against a defending state champion.
You could argue the last couple of years, one of the weaknesses of Lone Peak has been depth at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's one game, but
it's a strong game.
You got to feel pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Got to feel pretty good with that. All right, our next question, Jeff. Who is the most impressive quarterback in week 1 for you?
Oh, there were so many. There were so many good. I'm gonna rattle off the candidates that I've got here. I got like 9 candidates. This is worse than like the Academy Awards.
Now I know how Dusty's felt all these years.
Trayden Bessinger, we talked about, fantastic.
Yep.
Camden Lopati, we talked about it, fantastic. Ryder Hales for Salem Hills, fantastic. We're here at Fremont. Manase Tuatagaloa, he looked pretty darn good for the Wolves. Helaman Kasuga, he does exist. We kind of forget about the Texas A&M commit sometimes, but he did exactly what you'd expect him to do. 13 of 18, 284.
By the way, his first touchdown, you know what his first touchdown was? Just a casual 96-yard touchdown pass to Kai Meza. No big deal.
That's what they do.
7-0. Yeah.
That's what he does. He averaged more than 20 yards per completion, did Kasuga.
That's crazy.
So great. Andrew Hillstead we talked about. Cruz Christensen we talked about. We're going to talk about a lot of those guys every single week. So for this week, I'm going to go down to St. George.
Oh,
and I know
where you're going.
I'm looking
at
Pineview.
Yes.
I'm looking at Levi Shaw's
big game.
6 touchdown passes. That was impressive. He had 3 touchdown passes to Brock Harris for more than 200 yards in the first quarter. The Pineview, the Panthers, they look great against Manti. That game was fun, 51-45. Pineview gets the win. Manti came back. They had their own impressive offensive performance. But Levi Shaw, I didn't expect Levi Shaw to have 6 touchdown passes. I expected big performances from a lot of those guys. So you step up off the radar like that, that's going to impress me. I'm going with Levi Shaw.
You know what would be so awesome? We talked about in our preseason video, Brock Harris has stuck it out at Pineview. Wouldn't it be awesome if his senior year, they win region, they make a playoff push? Panthers, you got fans in us. Best wishes to our friends down at Pineview. Look, that's a great one. I'm going to go with one. I don't think you mentioned him in your list, but I think it's because, I don't think you mentioned him. I could be wrong.
Then,
how about the game for Keneal Sweetwine?
He played great.
Skyridge taking on Mountain Ridge. I thought that was going to be a very competitive game. It was not. 52-17, all Falcons in this one. Keneal had 5 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
He played great.
To lead the way for Skyridge. And look, we talk about Region 3. We talk about every team, seemingly every team in that region now. Haven't mentioned AF. We will in time. But Keneal Sweetwine had himself a game week 1. This is a young man who came on the scene last year. His commitment, you saw his offers increase in the offseason. This young man's going to have himself a big year and starts off week 1 with a big win, with a win over a top 15 Mountain Ridge team. That's a really impressive win for Skyridge.
And he needed that.
Yes, he did.
Keneal Sweetwine has always had the talent. And last year, there were some ups and downs. It was his first year as a starting quarterback. No matter how talented you are, that's tough to do.
Yeah.
To have that kind of game week 1, that's something he's going to be able to build on and reflect back on. Hey, if things go south in week 2, you just got to remember, I've done this before. So that's a bigger performance for Sweetwine than even what the box score is going to say about yesterday.
Let's go to our next question. Jeff, what surprised you the most?
Hell, I think we've talked about just about all of my big surprises, except we mentioned Copper Hills.
Mm-hmm.
But that still surprised me. I did not expect Copper Hills over Northridge. Coach Fresquez, I know it's a transition year for him in Northridge.
Northridge had some injuries week 1.
They do.
They were down.
But Copper Hills comes up, and it's the Grizzly defense that stands out to me. I didn't have Copper Hills over Northridge, even with the injuries and even with the transition. Big win for Copper Hills.
Provo over Green Canyon for me. We talked about that one a little bit earlier. Garrick Orchard had 2 passing touchdowns, 27-14 in the Bulldog win. Final question. Who has the most to prove in week 2?
Well, I think there were a pair of teams that thought that they would show better than they did in Brighton and Weber. Okay. I think both of those teams expected to have competitive week 1 games, and it wasn't competitive. Those 2 teams are going to match up, and I think the winner of that game is going to feel great, and the loser is going to feel like, oh man, like we're 0-2, this is tough. I look at both of those teams and that game specifically as the prove it to me. And I think both locker rooms are going to have a lot of that same feel that they want to go out and prove it to themselves that they are the team that they thought they were throughout the summer, throughout workouts. That game's going to be huge. I know that's 2 answers, but it's one game. I'll take Brighton and Weber both have a lot to prove going into week 2.
I agree. Let me give you another one. Morgan lost to Ridgeline week 1. We talk about a program that reloads. Morgan's one of them. They will take on Skyview this week. Skyview, another one of those. A lot to prove, both coming off losses. They're each going to be plenty motivated in that week 2 matchup. There's a lot of teams we're going to talk about. Catch our other videos. We'll have our rankings video. We'll have our top 25 video. We'll also have player and coaches interviews here from Fremont High School as Fremont beat Weber in week 1. That was our game of the week. Come find us to hear more from Coach Tua Tagovailoa, a few of his players. For Vince Francis, Jeff Hansen, my name is Dane Stewart. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on KSL Sports Rewind's recap video presented by Tab Bank.